Okay, let's talk about a city with a story so epic it almost doesn't seem real. We're talking about one single place that has lived more lives than pretty much any other on Earth. It's had a whole bunch of names, been the heart of massive empires, and the center of different faiths. Yep, this is the story of Istanbul.
So you have to ask, right? How can one city be Greek, then Roman, then Christian, and then Muslim? I mean, how does it not just survive all that change, but completely transform its identity over thousands of years? That's what we're going to get into. It's a wild story of reinvention, of being conquered and then reborn, over and over again.
All right, to get our bearings, just take a quick look at this timeline. It starts way back as a Greek colony called Byzantium. Then, boom, it becomes Constantinople, the capital of the Roman Empire. Fast forward 1,000 years, it's reborn as Istanbul, the heart of the Ottoman Empire. And finally, it becomes the sprawling Turkish city we know today. 4 huge identities, all in one incredible spot.
So let's start with that first massive transformation. How did this, relatively modest Greek trading town get picked to become the new center of the most powerful empire in the world?
Well, it all goes back to Emperor Constantine the Great. So in 324 AD, after winning a big Roman civil war, he's basically looking for a fresh start. He needs a new capital, something strategic, something powerful. And he sets his sights on this old Greek city, Byzantium. That one decision completely changed the course of history for the next, 1,600 years? No big deal. And of course, a new capital needs a new name. Constantinople, the city of Constantine. But this wasn't just a rebrand. Oh no, it was a total reimagining. He built a huge palace, a massive stadium for chariot races called the Hippodrome, and, crucially, he made it a Christian city. That decision right there set the stage for it to become the capital of the Christian world. So while the Western Roman Empire was crumbling, Constantinople was absolutely thriving. This was its golden age, the era of the Byzantine Empire. But, it was an age that was just as famous for its incredible achievements as it was for its absolutely brutal moments of turmoil. And get this, the city was almost completely destroyed because of a riot over sports. I'm not kidding. In 532, some rival chariot racing fans, the Blues and the Greens, got into it, and it snowballed into a massive rebellion against Emperor Justinian. Huge parts of the city, including the main cathedral, just went up in flames. The scale of the violence was just staggering. After Justinian's forces finally crushed the revolt, something like 30,000 people were dead. Half of this magnificent city was literally just a pile of smoking ashes. It was a total catastrophe. But from those ashes came this incredible rebirth. Justinian didn't just rebuild, he went bigger. He commissioned the Hagia Sophia, this mind-blowing domed cathedral that was an absolute architectural marvel. He built huge underground water systems. The city became this buzzing hub for global trade, the place connecting Europe and Asia. But at the same time, this deep crack was forming in the Christian world. By 1054, all these disagreements over religious authority finally boiled over, and Christianity officially split in two. You had the Roman Catholic Church in the west, led by the Pope in Rome, and you had the Orthodox Church in the east, centered right here in Constantinople. This split, well, it would have devastating consequences down the line. And those consequences, they arrived in the most shocking way you can possibly imagine. We're now at the moment the city suffered its greatest betrayal, and not from some foreign enemy, but from fellow Christians. Okay, think about this for a second. The city had spent centuries building these legendary, impenetrable walls. They'd fought off attacks from Persians, from Arab caliphates. They were seen as the great bastion of the Christian world. So who could possibly be their most dangerous enemy? The answer is just unbelievable. It was an army of fellow Christians. In 1204, the Fourth Crusade, an army that was supposed to go fight in the Holy Land got diverted, and thanks to a mix of greed and dirty politics, they turned their weapons on the greatest Christian city on the planet. For 3 straight days, the Crusaders just went on a rampage. They looted, they burned, they desecrated holy sites, including the Hagia Sophia itself. They stole priceless treasures, like the famous bronze horses that you can still see in Venice today. They completely shattered the Byzantine Empire and left the city a smoldering ruin. And the human cost was just catastrophic. Before this sack, Constantinople was home to maybe 500,000 people.
When the Byzantines finally managed to take it back about 60 years later, the population was down to 50,000. The city was a ghost town, its spirit totally broken.
Honestly, the city never really recovered under Byzantine rule. It was just a shadow of its former self, which basically set the stage for its next great transformation, its rebirth as the capital of a new power, the Ottoman Empire. So fast forward to 1453, the young Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II, soon to be known as the Conqueror, shows up with a massive army. After a 7-week siege where he used these gigantic cannons to pound the walls, his forces finally broke through. The last Byzantine emperor died fighting, and Mehmed rode into the city, declared it his new capital, and ordered the Hagia Sophia to be converted into a mosque. A new era had begun.
And with a new empire came a new name. Well, sort of. While it was still officially called other things, the name Istanbul started to catch on. And the origin is pretty cool, actually. It comes from a common Greek phrase, East tin Polin, which just means to the city. For the people who lived there, there was only one city that really mattered, and this was it.
Sultan Mehmed got to work right away, repopulating and rebuilding his new capital. He moved Muslims, Christians, and Jews from all over his empire into the city to bring it back to life. And would you look at the result? The population just exploded, from that low of 50,000 to around 700,000 within a century. It was once again one of the biggest, most important cities in the world.
For centuries, Istanbul was the magnificent heart of the Ottoman Empire. But as that empire started to fade, the city was forced into its most recent and maybe its most dramatic transformation yet, becoming the modern megacity we see today.
The pace of change in the 19th and 20th centuries was just breathtaking. The sultans built these lavish European-style palaces. The world's second oldest subway started running. But the biggest shocker came in 1923 when the new Republic of Turkey was founded and the capital was moved to Ankara. Then in 1973, a bridge finally connected the European and Asian sides of the city. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. For the first time since Emperor Constantine, this city was not the capital of an empire. Its political power was gone. And to really drive that point home, in 1930, the new government made it official. The name was now Istanbul, and only Istanbul. But even without being the capital, the city just kept growing. It experienced this massive population boom from the mid-20th century onwards. Today, it's home to over 15 million people, a sprawling, energetic megacity that is still the economic and cultural heart of Turkey. So we end right back where we started, a city that's been Greek, Roman, Byzantine, Ottoman, a city that's been the center of the world for different empires and different religions. It still stands, just like it always has, right at the crossroads of continents and cultures. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. What's its next life going to be?